Post-match pints after Liverpool win. I do not know what to do with myself. They went to West Ham, they won 2-0. We're all delighted. I'm joined by Adam Emilio and by Andy Bell. And we're going to have to caveat all this on the way through by saying that West Ham are possibly the worst team we've ever played in the history of of the football club. They made it easy for us, but we've been making a lot of things very, very difficult. So reasonably routine 2-0 win. I'm going to grab all of that and more.
Yeah, there's a lot of context to the game. The main one being West Ham are not very good. They're not very good at football. They don't cause us any problems at all today. I think the expected goals on target is 0.00, which basically means they didn't have a shot on target, John. So,
okay.
Which means, obviously, part of that is that they're not very threatening themselves, but also Liverpool shapes better. Liverpool don't do silly things. Kanate, when the ball is on the touchline, just kicks it out for a throw-in and says, we'll defend the throw-in, rather than doing mad stuff.
Bang into that.
100%. And it's just a fairly sensible Liverpool performance. There's loads and loads of context around the game. Obviously, we know Liverpool aren't in form by any stretch of the imagination. Liverpool probably don't create quite as much as you want them to. There's a couple of chances there you would like to see a little bit more going forward, but it's a routine win away from home in the Premier League, and that is never to be sniffed at, never mind when we're in the form we're in. We just needed that so badly. And I was relatively stress-free this afternoon. I didn't envisage this
the
game
Bowen
being
shots.
such. There is the Bowen shot. Yeah, there is the Bowen shot, and that's when they go down to 10 minutes.
They're the ones that have been dropped.
And that's always the risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're obviously it's 1-0 at that point. We don't kill the game. We don't particularly look like killing the game, and we talk now that it was a comfortable 2-0, which it was. But if Bowen makes it 1-1 and we concede and draw with 10, with them having 10 men, it's a very different conversation. But it's not the conversation we're having, and happy days.
Yeah, I mean, bad luck can change any game. We've been having it recently, but in they wouldn't have deserved that equaliser, and it flashes past it and they get the second that puts it to bed. And I hope they're feeling good. I hope they're feeling as good as we are, because, like Andy says, it was badly needed. And there's times during the game, particularly in the first half, where you think, they could go at them a bit more. But again, to use that context word, you understand why they may be a little bit, reluctant to commit too many men forward and things like that. But well worthy of the win, and
100%.
Yeah, I'm just delighted that they've got one and we can start. I might even watch Match of the Day.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched that for what's that? Yeah, Match of the Who. Yeah, hugely relieved. I think I've been worried about this fixture for even before our sort of even more terrible last couple of weeks. I was worried about this one from sort of Brentford, because I was thinking, I'm just not sure how I see how these away wins are gonna start coming. Really, it just felt like we were just getting in our own heads, and away grounds being on top of us, and it was just all becoming too much, no matter kind of who we were playing, really. And then obviously the last week has been so bad that I was even worse, really. I was almost like, I can't see how we're ever going to win. that was basically
maybe we just lose now.
Yeah. I was talking to Neil in the week, and Neil was saying, well, if we score first, we'll probably win. I was like, well, that's what we've still got. We've still got we score first and still lose. That was, these are the things that are still to come. So, but once the game starts today, I think I said to Andy at half time, it was the most ideal away game situation you could really kind of hope for. Really,
it'd have been harder at Anfield, that game.
Yeah. So it was they in terms of what they gave us, there was no threat. I was just talking to Andy and Kev before and saying, who is it that was missing in terms of a threat there? Is it just because they've sold Kudus? And we were sort of like scratching our heads to say, I don't really see. It's Bowen's their threat, isn't it, really? And so there was not a particular threat from them. We were allowed to play. We were allowed to play into our new shape, allowed to play into confidence. The ground wasn't hostile at all, and it was just a case of, right, let's go out there and make sure we don't have a second half collapse again, and go and get the goal and get the win. And I think we played within ourselves. I think that's sort of what you've both alluded to. I feel like it was definitely part of the plan to be disciplined. I think we were really disciplined there today. There was times where it's sort of broken out from from a corner of theirs or something, and we're not flying out to try and press. We are staying in our shape, and then when we do move up the pitch, I noticed there was a lot more short passing, and we moved up as a unit, and I thought there was things there today which I think are extremely positive green shoots, which we'll hope to build on in harder games.
I think the threat is potentially Paquetá, but he decided to play a game of how many times can I call the referee a silly sausage before he sends me off?
Wild.
Which is mad. Just to your point there, and in terms of the corners, there's a graphic shows up at the start of the game which has Liverpool and I think 4 other teams on 9 goals conceded from set pieces this season. West Ham are one of the others, ironically, obviously both playing the same game, but we must concede 10 corners today.
There's a lot,
And it feels like they come in like 3s and 4s at once. It's like, it's just being headed out to play for another corner. But we do actually defend corners and we defend set pieces really well today.
And the second phases as well. So sometimes that's what I'm talking about. It's that second phase where I thought we were disciplined. I thought we were disciplined in them battles to not just defend the first one and then knock off and do something silly.
Yeah, because it's like the Gravenberch one at Palace where he actually wins is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but he gets the first contact in the ball and it just drops. And a couple of times that happens today, but Liverpool are around it and they press the ball well. And I think as much as that's been really, really poor this season, they deserve a bit of credit today. I think Konate also deserves a bit of credit today, as much as he's been.
Do you think you like Gomez to the right of him?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes sense in this current situation, and obviously we've been very unlucky over the last year and a half. We're in a couple of different times we've gone into games with our 2 right backs missing. It feels like you have to be pretty unlucky for that to happen once, never mind twice. Obviously it's PSG and the League Cup final last year and the current situation now. But I think you do lose a little bit when you've got Gomez and Szoboszlai there, just because I feel like you want Szoboszlai central so he can lead the press, and when he's leading from the right he doesn't really know exactly where to be, just because he hasn't played that position much for Liverpool. And of course, if you've got Conor Bradley or Jeremy Frimpong there, he's offered a little bit more than Joe Gomez. I think there's one first half where he's a little bit selfless and tries to pull it back where he could probably have a shot. I think he'd probably have a shot for the Gakpo one as well. And the Liverpool away end are very, very encouraging him to do so. I'm not into that shout, but there were actually a couple of times where he probably could have done. But listen, he's really sensible. And he can consider himself really hard done by, to be honest, this season. I will say it. The way Konate's been playing, Arne Slot's very good at being ruthless with the likes of Kwanzaa and certain other players, and everyone says Slot's ruthless. He's ruthless when he wants to be sometimes, and he does have his favourites, I think, to an extent. So I think Gomez has been hard done by, but he comes into the end and doesn't put a foot wrong. Listen, he's not marauding up and down the right-hand side. He's not getting crossed in. He's not going to get 4 or 5 assists.
Gets one today.
He does get one, yeah. A mad assist, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does really well. We do lose a little bit. I wouldn't imagine that's the plan for the next 5 years, to play Szoboszlai right wing and Gomez right back. But for today, we need to do something to get through the game, and get through the game we did.
In terms of plans for the next 5 years, though, we see a lot from Florian Wirtz today. It's interesting he has that game without Mo Salah in the team. He seems to get a lot more freedom today. Listen, he's got the freedom at the park with the way West Ham play. We've got to caveat it again with he won't have a less physical Premier League game than that. They weren't really pressing or putting challenge in. But, watching him strolling around the pitch, firing balls into forwards, he's unlucky today because it's players' touches really that are letting him down rather than the quality of his balls. So he must wonder sort of why he's not on 5, 6, 7 assists so far this season. But he was brilliant to watch, probably his best game so far, and you can see the way forward for this team with him in it a little bit more than he could before at 2 o'clock. And I didn't even know he was fit, so it was nice to see him on the starting in the starting lineup. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that the change of shape helps. I mean, I think he's had a dip of late, but he hasn't been terrible. And I think even at his worst, you can sort of see what a player there is there, and we just need to work out how to what position he likes to be in and how things can go through him, because everything should be going through him. And I think, you know, you mentioned Salah, and it sort of like links to Gomez as well, but I think having that width from the fullbacks rather than it being sort of Salah as the start of each attack meant that it felt like we had two forwards there and we felt like we had a spare forward there. So it wasn't just one forward getting marked. So Wirtz, once he got on the ball, he had Gakpo and Isak both to look at. So I think that really helped him. But yeah, he's a fantastic player, and he works so hard as well. You know, I think off the ball, you know, we were sort of saying he's pressing all the way up the pitch the whole game. And
there was one second half as well where they looked to break, and he was furthest man back. He was chasing down to you know, the right back position, getting back.
Yeah. He works his socks off. He must be an amazing player to have on your team, and yeah, we can say with confidence we know that it is going to work. It's just a case of I mean, maybe he's such a new player to this team that maybe we're thinking he was going to drag us out of the mire, and he kind of hasn't done that. But it's unfair to ask him to do that at this stage of his career. But I think that when as we start to play better, which is what's going to happen from now on, we'll
turn the corner.
We'll see more and more. I'd love him to get a goal, and I think that is obviously coming as well because he's got that quality. You see it from Isak, don't you? It's you know, once that chance comes to him, then it's a natural thing, and I think you'll see that from Wirtz at some point soon.
Yeah, just on Isak, I was worried about his confidence, but the way he strokes that in, it looks a better finish every time you see it. He just knows exactly what he's going to do. He passes it in like all good forwards do. It was also sort of Fowler-esque. He sort of just caresses it into the corner. It's a great finish.
It's such a good goal. You know what? He's unlucky with one first half as well. He does everything right. Yeah. The keeper guesses essentially.
It's sort of behind him as well. So he's got a hook, and I think
he does really well. I think 9 times out of 10 that goes in.
Yeah.
Keeper guesses, does well, fair play. But I've been a bit concerned just sort of with Isak and the way we're playing him, and I almost think that Slot's sort of trying to do what Diaz did last season. I'm always just let him stay between the sticks and score 30 goals because that's what he's going to do. But I think we've all watched football for, you know, various different amounts of time, and you know when, like, I don't know whether it's body position, you just understand when something's going to go in, and that is not his body position there, and the way that chance plays out, that should not be a goal. That is a player there, you know, with immense quality. I think we have to remember that we have actually got, despite the fact he's not entirely fit and probably hasn't been in form for Liverpool, although he's only played, I think, 5 Premier League games this season, we have got one of the best strikers in the world, and if we work out how to play him, he will score us 30 goals this season. And I listen, you might be able to name one or two. I right now can't think of another player in the league who could score that goal. It's the balance, it's not leaning back, it's the instinct, and it's putting it slap bang in the corner. It's the only place where he can put that finish. It's an absolutely outrageous goal from Alexander Isak. And I was saying to Adam and Kev, who was watching the game with, I was obviously, I wouldn't have turned my nose up at 3 or 4-0, but I did sort of want us to just win 1-0 and Alexander Isak to have had that moment where he's got the goal. But I mean, I think he does have that. And you know, he does the interview after the game and he talks about his confidence, and hopefully now, you know, you do want to see him start, you do want to see him just almost Arne Slot play him into form to an extent. And just a quick word, if you don't mind, on Cody Gakpo, because I do think he's come in for a little bit more stick than I would like. I think when it's going bad, you will look at Gakpo and you will think that, you know, it's really obviously going bad for him, because when Gakpo doesn't have a good game, he does the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't work, and it's an easy sort of target, and like, I get it, and it doesn't help that he backs out of 50-50s left, right and centre all the time as well, and he's not going to change at whatever age he is. But I do think he is sort of constantly a menace, and I do think that maybe in an ideal world he's Liverpool's 4th or 5th choice centre forward, but in terms of like the 4th or 5th choice we've had over the years with Shaqiri, Minamino, like he's far above that level. And and we do have a player there who will score between 10 and 20 goals every season from the wing, and that's not to be sniffed at. And he gets his goal today, and he looks a little bit more confident. And I hope
got the assist for Isak as well.
He does, yeah. And when I saw the team, I was like, is he going to play right-hand side? I didn't really understand it, but he works out a way of keeping him left. And listen, the manager rates him, whether we do or not, the manager rates him. And I think he is, to an extent, a confidence player. And like I say, when it's not going well, he will pull out of 50-50s and he will do the same thing over and over again, and he will burn your dad's head out. But like ultimately, he is a very good player, and he is good enough to play for Liverpool.
Yeah, I know what Andy's saying. It's in these flat performances, your temptation is to look for the fella who isn't the most high energy footballer, and that's him. You know, he plays to his personality really, which is kind of a little bit laid back, and so when it's not sort of going quite right, it's easy to say, well, we'll get him out and get Chiesa in who's going to run about, or Via Wingabauer who's going to sort of take on people. But, you know, he has been a good signing for Liverpool. I agree with Andy. I'd like to get it to a situation where he's fourth or fifth choice. I think Liverpool would be in a stronger position for that. But I had no doubt he was going to score today when it dropped to him. And, you know, in terms of his output, he is up there. And I liked him a bit more central today. I think because of the way we set up, he was able to do that, and I thought he was, you know, threat throughout. Yeah,
it's true. I think he's continued to deliver in a way. You know, he hasn't looked very good, but he's continued to deliver output, even, you know, through this poor spell, which was the same in Liverpool's last sort of poor spell I can think of under Jurgen, when it felt like he was like the only person holding up a side for a while. But yeah, he is such a confidence player. In terms of what it's like to look at, really. So you know, I think hopefully because he scored today, we'll see it in the next game. But he scores a goal and suddenly he looks like he's bigger, because he is big, but he doesn't always play like he's big, or you know, he'll suddenly look like he's got an extra yard of pace. But yeah, I think I don't really want to be sort of too critical of him. He looked a bit clunky in the first half, and quite a lot of things broke down with him. But I thought he was a good foil for Isak, because, you know, much as we've sort of praised Isak, it is sort of based on what we know he's got rather than what we've seen. You know, he's the one who's looked a bit of a crab, to be fair. He's not been very good for us so far at all. And like, today's the first game where he's started, and we've actually looked like a team. I think, you know, he's been so poor that it kind of has looked almost like we haven't had a target, haven't had a striker at times when he's started. So I think having Gakpo there to be near him, and I think so much of the performance and the win today, now I think about it, was having players near each other. You know, having partnerships there up the pitch. And I think being compact without the ball as well. So I think that thing that he was doing in terms of being a foil and looking to pass to Isak or just dummy it to him, and, you know, things like that. To be fair, there was the one in the first minute where Gakpo should just score for me.
Yeah.
Does he dummy it to Isak?
Dummies it to Isak.
So yeah. But it's that sort of thing I'm talking about. He's getting chances for Isak. That on that occasion he should just put the ball in the net for me. But
I think he can maybe even take a touch.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got a bit of a space, but maybe he just thinks, you know, maybe striker needs a goal and he's being a bit selfless. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something I feel like every single away game I've ever watched us in, we have a good chance in the first minute and go, oh well,
it's too early to score.
You've just reminded me about the start of the game where I think the foul that he doesn't give as a foul in Gravenberch might be the worst decision I've ever seen in my life.
We didn't watch it together. Did you have the commentary? I felt like the co-commentator was trying to gaslight me into this touch. Oh, it's a very slight, and I'm like, fucking slight, as in he kicked it a minute ago.
It's definitely not in the box.
It might be the worst decision I've ever seen in my life. It's like, it's absolute assault from this fella. Is it Maswak? I'm not sure what his name is, but I'd never heard of him before.
Like, it's his first start.
Magassa is his first start, and like he does incredibly well to get to 60 minutes without being booked, and then he gets booked, and then they hook him off, and that's exactly the right decision from Nuno Espirito Santo. But like, he could have had 4 red cards in that game. It's absolute thug, absolutely insane. But yeah, like, I have no idea how he doesn't give that. And there's one, I think, as well, is it Gakpo dummies at the Wirtz first half, where Wirtz does a back pass to Areola. It's really frustrating. It's
he presses the pass button instead of the shoot button.
He presses X, or whatever the Xbox equivalent is. But yeah, listen, it's not the prettiest performance. It's fairly comfortable. You would like Liverpool to create more chances. You'd like Liverpool to win 4 or 5-0, ideally. I think that Liverpool team at its peak form wins that game 4 or 5-0, but my God, Liverpool just needed to win the game by hook or by crook, and that's what they did, and they absolutely deserved to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other business from you boys?
I'm really happy that there's a clean sheet there. I think that's something for the defence to build on. As you say, I Gomez again, when he comes in, he always he does a performance like that, and then for whatever reason you don't see him again for ages. I really hope that doesn't happen, because he deserves to keep that shirt.
100%.
I think that the whole thing I'm really talking about in terms of the shape and the solidity, I sort of think you can probably pin that on the fact that he's there as a right back. We've got a right back there, and it doesn't move Szoboszlai, and just everything that he does, I think that he brings that solidity to start with, and I think we build from there. So yeah.
In terms of any other business, it's just in stoppage time. And listen, like, obviously we do these podcasts, and it's not easy sometimes, and you stumble over your words. My God, I've stumbled over my words in many podcasts before, but Arna Snot and Cody Gakpo in the space of 15 seconds from the co-commentator, and then he just shut up for the last 3 minutes, which is exactly what he should do.
Sometimes you got to quit while you're not quite ahead, but we could get worse. Listen, we're going to do that now. We've all enjoyed that fantastic win, so we're going to go and enjoy Match of the Day or whatever it is you want to watch. I'm going to listen to the post-match audio show. They've done that in York, which is an interesting move. Rob, Steve and Neil are going to go and listen to that before they head to the snooker tomorrow. But we're all feeling good. We can look at league tables again. We can dream of European football, and let's see, that's what a 2-0 win against the worst team on earth does to you. Up the Reds.